I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So our orders get all backed up. We're drowning in paperwork, then actually drowning. Carol is fighting off sharks with a stapler, and pirates are pillaging the office copier, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant goes beyond the resume, using unique insights to deliver a smarter shortlist. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
This episode is part of our Coaching Coordinator Network Best of 2025 series, highlighting conversations that continue to shape how coaches think, teach, and lead. In this revisit, we sit down with Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator of the Miami Dolphins, recorded at the QB Collective. While the event centers on quarterbacks, Weaver brings a defensive and leadership perspective that applies across position rooms, staffs, and levels of the game. The conversation focuses on teaching with clarity, building player-led environments, staying consistent through adversity, and simplifying without losing impact. Weaver's insight is not about chasing answers, but about developing people and creating standards that hold up over time. This episode is also paired with a custom Coaching Coordinator AI companion built exclusively from this conversation. This AI companion will help you explore Coach Weaver's teaching principles and leadership philosophy more deeply, then apply them to your own role, staff, or program without speculation or added system design. You can find it linked in the show notes. As we look back on the ideas that matter most in 2025, this conversation stands out for how clearly it defines what effective coaching looks like when preparation, clarity, and values are aligned. Welcome back to the Coaching Coordinator Podcast. I'm Keith Grabowski, and today's guest is someone I've followed and admired for years, Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. At the time of our conversation, he was the associate head coach and defensive line coach for the Baltimore Ravens, and we caught up at the QB Collective at the Wynn Resort in Las Vegas. What made this interview special was not just Weaver's insights on football, but the way he brings heart, humility, and a teacher's mindset to everything he does. Whether you're a young coach or a seasoned vet, you're going to take something powerful away from this short but impactful episode. We're at the QB Collective at the Wynn in Las Vegas and sitting down with Anthony Weaver, who's the assistant head coach and defensive line coach for the Baltimore Ravens. So thanks for taking the time here. It's great to be able to meet you and finally sit down with you. I've followed you for years here as part of the collective, but it's a good opportunity to meet here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me, man. It's looking beautiful outside. Got a lot of great coaches here. It's an awesome event.
Yeah, and you've been at the event before. It's a unique event. It's called the Quarterback Collective, but I'm sitting down with a defensive line coach who's here, and unique perspective brought to it. So it's not just about the quarterbacks, though that's what's driving it. The 13 QBs this year that we have here. But for you, what does this event mean?
Oh man, first and foremost, I think it's a way to pay it forward, right, to the next generation of football players. This game has blessed us all immensely. So I think it's important for us to get together like this and try to share the wisdom and experience we've all gained throughout the years to help that next generation. And then I just think it's great to be around like-minded people, right, both from a coaching standpoint and athletes. When you get around people that are going to push you to grow and make you better, I mean, how can you not love that?
Yeah, definitely. I think you might have intimidated the QBs a little bit with your introduction.
Oh no, I can't even remember what I said now.
I think you were there. We'll paraphrase it. You're here to figure out how to mess them up.
Well, honestly, that's the perspective I'm trying to give them.
Exactly.
Right? Quarterbacks, they're finessed by nature for the most part.
Right.
Defensive guys are not. So they need to have an understanding of what's ahead for them, right? And if they respond accordingly, they'll win the team, right? And that's all you want your quarterback to do.
You've been with Richmond for a while, and I talk to Richmond often. He's always spoken highly of you. But looking at the way that he does things, especially with events like this, other events that he has throughout the years around different opportunities, how important has that been for your growth and advancement in this profession?
Yeah. First off, I love Richmond Flowers because as an agent, he's different in the fact that, he genuinely cares. He's very selective in the guys that he chooses because he wants guys that pair well with him, guys that understand it's bigger than a paycheck, right? It's about, like we talked about, it's about service. It's about paying it forward. And so he's been instrumental in just making sure that I meet, like I said earlier, just people that are cut from the same cloth. And he's formed an incredible group of men that are all pulling the same direction. And even though a lot of us are on different teams and we face each other a lot of the times, we still cheer for each other and want each other to do well. And eventually, hopefully, we have a chance to all work together, as many of us together as we possibly can.
Yeah, it's been amazing, just the track record of this group going back to one of the first ones of this, and I've been able to follow a few over the years and be at a few. And you see, some of these guys going from, they weren't even coordinators now, head coaches in the NFL. So it's a high trajectory for this group too. But as Richmond talks about it, it's really about the relationships and who you get to connect with here, that someday that guy might be on your coaching staff. For you, as you look at, some of the guys around here, but also the things you value in a person, that you would bring them on a coaching staff. I'm sure, being a head coach is something you aspire to. Being assistant head coach right now, you're on that track. What are those things that you value in somebody who would work with you?
Yeah, I think the things you value most doesn't necessarily have to do with their knowledge schematically, right? You're looking for guys that are selfless, that understand the greater good. You want coaches that are tough, right? And that, sometimes when you talk about toughness, that could come with a false bravado, like Mike Tyson. And that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the toughness of like an assassin, right? A guy who can show up, be the same guy every day and deliver when needed. You want guys that are tenacious. Now, tenacious and toughness, you think those go together, but to me, tenacious, that's more time. There's more time given, right? So this game is hard, right? The season is very long. And as the season goes on, some people start to fade and they start to change, right? You don't want guys that do that. You want guys that are consistent and calm in the chaos and are always the same guy each and every day. And then you want guys, obviously, that are going to work hard, right? At the end of the day, I think we all look for that. And guys that have a growth mindset. The thing about this game is the second you think you have all the answers, the second you're on your way out. You look at the Kyle Shanahans, the Mike McDaniel, all the guys that have come through here. They've adapted throughout the years. When I worked with Kyle in Cleveland in 2015, that offense looks completely different now. And that's just a testament to his work ethic and his ability to grow and adapt throughout time. And I think as long as, these coaches have these attributes, you'll always have a chance to be successful in this league.
Yeah. Toughness is a big aspect of coaching. No matter how much you don't necessarily get to walk in and have the titles right away. You're going to work through it, and there are going to be tough times. It's not easy. I'm sure there's been times early on when you're wondering, like, man, what am I doing? For you looking back on it, what was a tough time really sticks out in your mind, and how do you get through it? How do you use that then to grow as a coach to be able to continue on?
Yeah. My most difficult year coaching, and probably the year I've had the most growth, was the year I coordinated in Houston. It happened to be the COVID year, which obviously there were obstacles there that were unanticipated. But the thing that you realize, right, and this is probably life in general, is life is like a pencil, right? In order to sharpen, you got to cut some of those edges off. And a lot of those times when you're going through those tough times, that's what's happening. And the one thing I try to tell my kids, I have an 11 and 5-year-old, right? So I tell them the same things that I tell my players is all these tough times that we've all gone through. I wake up in the morning and I'm okay, right? And that's what people need to understand is like, you're going to be okay in the morning. All right, pick yourself back up. Let's have some critical thinking about what just happened and then identify that and understand how you're going to grow from it. So that's all I continue to try to do.
Yeah. When you look at things on the flip side of that, there certainly are a lot of highs in this game too, especially being at the NFL level. I mean, just to get to the position you are, there's 32 of you in the league, right?
Yeah.
The 32 position. I mean, this is really the top of the profession, but there's those joyous moments outside the wins. The wins are always great because it's that collective effort that comes together. What are those for you, the things you remember, those joyous moments that are outside of the wins that really, fit into your mission as a coach?
Oh man. So there's a couple of things there, right? You have instances where you're constantly trying to teach guys, not just football, but life experiences, right? And opportunities for them to grow. And you're trying to instill these lessons to them. And every once in a while, you see it come out through a player in an interview, and they start to sound like you, right? and I find so much joy in that. I remember I'm a big no excuse guy, right? And I'm constantly talking to my players about that because I say blame. I'm an acronym guy too, right? No being lazy and making excuses. So I had this player, DJ Reader, and he was doing an interview, and they asked him some question, and he goes, you know what? Excuses and responsibility can't coexist. And he said that. I was like, oh my God, that's me. I'm like, he's sitting there saying the same things I'm saying. So that part is awesome. More, even greater than that is when I just coached Calais Campbell, right? Calais Campbell's undoubtedly a Hall of Famer. He's been in the league 16, 17 years. He's going to have 100 plus sacks. And when you have somebody of his caliber come up to you and tell you like, hey, Coach Weave, you're one of the best coaches I've ever had. Not just from an X's and O's guy and things like that, but just as a man. He's like, you've helped me grow so much. And when you have somebody of that stature, him, the JJ Watts, the guys I've been fortunate enough to be a part of and just touch their greatness for a second. And when they show that amount of respect and love to you, oh man, you're like, all right, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing it for the right reasons. Obviously, it's getting through.
Yeah. One of the things in the whole learning process, when you have somebody who essentially can teach that material, and whether that material is the culture you've instilled with them and hearing those things come out, or it's being able to coach up other players, maybe when you're injured. D'Angelo Hall talked about that, or, it's not your turn, whatever it might be. As a coach, now you see that, okay, it's now also not me just driving the culture. It's player led. It's it's we're doing it.
Absolutely.
How do you, one, set up that environment so that you are going to get it to that point? And then two, what are the best teaching methods you use that those guys get it and they're able to do it?
That's a unique question, right? Because people say they have these different methods and all these things, but ultimately I think players are a reflection of your coach, right? So whoever you are, right, be true to that. Mm-hmm. Be genuine. When you talk to them, talk from the heart, and then obviously know what the heck you're talking about, right? But to me, like I don't have any real strategy. I just try to stay true to who I am, right? We all have things that we believe in that are unbending, like principles, but you got to be flexible with your methods, and they're all different, right? They're all different. So I try to work within that player with what he does best, and I try not to square peg round hole anybody. I'm going to figure out what his best attributes are and have him be the best version of that. And I've had a lot of success doing that so far, and I think that's why it doesn't matter who's come through that room, whoever it's been has gotten better, because I haven't tried to like just, hey, this is how we do it. Like there's only one way. No, there's a bunch of ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
And once I figure out who you are and what you do and what your speed and your twitch and your length and your different attributes, like I'll find a way for you to get your job done.
Right. With that, it's not always as smooth as that and saying, oh, here's a square peg, I'll put it in the square hole. Oh. Yeah. Sometimes you are banging in there figuring out, okay, what is it? How do I need to get to this guy? This guy doesn't get it. When there's something like that happening, whether it's the culture of your group or a concept on the field or a technique, what's the first thing you're looking to say, okay, this is how we have to do it moving forward?
I just think you got to invest more time, right? There's some guys that are going to get it right away, right? They're going to listen to you. They're going to put it up there on the board and they're going to grasp it, right? Or whatever you're trying to teach. And there's those guys that won't. And those guys that don't, to me, I just think like anything, if you want to get better at something, you got to invest more time in it. If I want to be better in my marriage, I got to spend more time with my wife, and we got to talk, and we got to communicate more. And when I've had that disconnect with players, I'm like, all right, hey, come into my office. Let's spend more time together. And maybe I got to find a different way to say it, a different way to teach it. But eventually I've always found that once you can find it, you can find what makes them tick. and you can get them to respond the way you want them to.
As you attend events like this, as you grow as a coach, what has been your method to say, man, there's all these great ideas. This is what I'm going to use. This fits with me. How do you determine some of that?
Yeah, the thing about this game is there's so many good ideas, right? But you can't use them all. So all we're trying to do from a coaching standpoint is to find a way to keep it simple and have it look multiple to an offense or a defense, but make it digestible for the players. And I feel like in Baltimore in particular, we found a really good way to do that. We layer concepts, right? And once you learn a particular concept, we can stack them on top of each other. So offensively, it looks crazy, but for us, it's very simple. And that's all every coach is trying to do. Sure. Right. We're trying to make the simple look complex.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not always an easy thing to learn right away because, you start learning the game and it is, if you're really getting into it, it's like drinking on a fire, right? You have to find how those things do connect. Yeah. Whether it's, over time, that's how I evolved as a coach is teaching in those smaller things and realizing like, because I simplified it, I can actually do more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And make it look complex, but it's going to be really easy for us. Yeah. And I think a key to that is, the language with what you do it, the terminology.
For sure.
And it goes into your teaching. You mentioned acronyms and other things. Like, what are the kind of things that you build in as coaching cues, as learning cues into the different things that you do to make it easier for the players?
So I have a knack for putting in defenses, putting in techniques in this assignment base, and then I'll make some kind of like funny sentence, right? That where they can remember it and they hear it, and it could be anything crazy. It could be like, hey, bear, like, hey, bears are always in the woods. So like, hey, in this one, we're always inside, right? But they're like, hey, bears are in the woods. All right. So something like that.
Right.
But I have a knack for doing that for the guys. And I figure the more that you can do that, it's no different than I'd do if I was like a kindergarten teacher, right? It sounds simple, but you have to find ways to do that in order for guys to remember, right?
Yeah. In looking at your career and the best advice you might give to somebody who wants to reach that position you're at. Some of the young guys sitting in this room, right? QC guys just getting into the game. Rich, as he's introducing today, Rich Gangrillo said, we've been here before. There are guys sitting in this room who are going to be, might be analysts or QC guys right now. They will be head coaches. So for those types of guys or our listeners, what's your best advice to be able to be in this for the long haul and accomplish what you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I think it's just be where your feet are, right? Let's not chase the next job and look ahead and all these things. Just do great where you're at. And if you're working hard and you're getting results, people will see that. And you don't gotta promote yourself and do all those things. Like that'll happen organically. And then just be genuine, right? Be genuine. Don't try to be like John Gruden or Bill Belichick or, be some copies of these other guys. Be true to who you are, right? Be your most genuine self, and the players will understand that. They'll feed off that. And as you continue to grow, you'll accomplish all the, heights you want to get to.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you taking the time and enjoy the rest of the event here at QB Collective, and best of luck to you and the Ravens here in 2023.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys having me.
As we close out this Best of 2025 conversation with Anthony Weaver, the takeaway is simple. Strong coaching is not built on shortcuts or noise. It's built on clarity, consistency, and trust in the work. Coach Weaver's approach reminds us that leadership shows up in how you teach, how you adapt, and how you stay steady when things get difficult. Those standards matter whether you're leading a position room, coordinating a unit, or building staff culture from the ground up. To help you apply these ideas beyond the conversation, this episode is paired with the Coaching Coordinator AI Companion built exclusively from Anthony Weaver's teaching and leadership insights shared with us. The companion allows you to explore his principles more deeply and apply them directly to your own role and context. You can find access in the show notes. If this conversation challenged how you think about teaching and leadership, take the next step and put it to work. That is what this series and the Coaching Coordinator Network is built for.